How about this one? Epstein-Barr virus may be the leading cause of multiple sclerosis. Um,
Yes.
do you want to talk about multiple sclerosis?
No, I don't want to talk about multiple sclerosis at all. But this is amazing finding. So sclerosis. I should talk about it a little bit then, I guess. I don't know so much about it. It's um, when you get multiple sclerosis, your nerves, they will be like attacked by this disease, and it will get worse and worse and worse, and there's no treatment, and you will die from it. So it's a very bad diagnosis. um, and we don't have treatment. We have like um, some some things to make the symptoms better, I think, like to alleviate a bit of the problems, but usually it depends on the person, and they gradually get worse over the years. Yes. So now there's a discovery of how this might start.
Let me put it up on the screen.
Oh.
So the title is Epstein-Barr virus may be the leading cause of multiple sclerosis.
Yes.
Um, essentially, apparently the Epstein-Barr virus is a very common virus. It's a herpes virus. It infects approximately 95% of all adults. And depending on when the infection happens, it may lead to MS. So multiple sclerosis, as Yoshi was saying, is a neurodegenerative disease that affects neurons. Specifically, it attacks the myelin sheaths. So when you have neurons, they communicate. They have these axons, basically like big wires. Myelin is what insulates each axon. Like it makes the transmission speed go up. Apparently it helps protect the axon. And in MS, that myelin sheath just gets wrecked. And throughout the central nervous system, I don't know if it's also in the periphery, basically it slowly makes it more and more difficult for your brain cells to communicate. And there is no cure. If once you get MS, that's it. That's the diagnosis. You can't really treat it. However, the Epstein-Barr virus, this is kind of in a coincidental good news. There is a vaccine now against the Epstein-Barr virus being developed by Pfizer. Let me look it up. So it just entered phase 1 clinical trials. So this is pretty preliminary. We don't have a vaccine just yet. But it's an mRNA vaccine being developed by, let me see, Moderna, sorry.
It's Moderna. Oh, I forgot.
So Moderna, we're all intimately familiar with Moderna and Pfizer and all the others right now.
And mRNA vaccines.
And mRNA vaccines. And Moderna is developing a vaccine against this. Again, so the Epstein-Barr virus infects like 95% of all humans. It is extremely common. If we can vaccinate against that, that may prevent a lot of infections and thereby a lot of cases of multiple sclerosis, MS.
So, but they found that many people are infected with this Epstein-Barr virus, but only a few develop MS, right? And they don't know why yet. But everyone that had MS, they had also been. No, there was only one of them that was not infected with the Epstein-Barr, I think.
Yeah, so in this study, what they did, they've tracked 10 million young adults, a lot of them service members, people in the military, but also nurses. And they found 955 individuals who were diagnosed with multiple sclerosis during their service. And they saw that the risk of multiple sclerosis increased 32-fold. So it became 32 times higher after infection with the Epstein-Barr virus.
Okay.
But it was unchanged after infection with other viruses.
Mm.
So it's a very strong link in a very large cohort. And that is, of course, they also highlight it takes about 10 years between infection and symptom onset. So it's very difficult to say, okay, you were infected now, and 10 years
Yeah.
later you got sick. Once you get sick, you don't remember that you got the virus 10 years ago. This is something, again, pretty topical because we really don't know what will happen to people that have become infected with the coronaviruses. We know of long COVID, extreme fatigue, brain fog, systems that persist for months, even years in some individuals. It is entirely possible that everyone who got COVID, or that large portion of COVID, is now more susceptible to other diseases like MS or what have you. We don't know. We simply don't know, which is also why it is such a terribly bad idea to say, well, we just consider it endemic and we'll let it rip. But I'm going off on a tangent here.
Oh, yeah. No, but that's interesting but we must know something about the other SARS variants, right?
They infected very few people and killed most of them.
Okay. Because there have been like some SARS viruses that were a problem in Asia, but but they were more deadly. So okay, then we should worry now a lot about this one. Yeah.
And they infected far fewer people, so that's the other thing.
Yeah, so you cannot do the big studies, and it's not as interesting. Maybe some studies aren't even done. That will now be done, so we don't know.
No, actually, one of the vaccines against COVID was originally developed as a response to SARS, but by the time it was developed, SARS was no longer a problem because it was eradicated effectively. There was this big spike in funding right when these viruses came out, or when both the swine flu and SARS, the original SARS, and by the time the vaccines, it takes a year at least. They came out.
Yeah,
it was kind of
eradicated.
Interest waned. Nobody cared anymore because the disease was gone, except for a few.